Stop mooching off your parents forever. Go away, you parasite, you money leech. The one hurling these insults at me is none other than my older sister. She has always been arrogant and has mocked me, her younger sister, endlessly. I can't stand it anymore, spouting off without knowing anything. I won't show any mercy just because we're family. I'll definitely show her. My name is Lisa. I'm 28 years old. I live in a high-rise condo with my parents. This all started about half a year ago. The reason was that my father was in debt. My dad, a company worker, got hooked on gambling, which he was introduced to by a colleague, and he quickly fell into a pit of debt. He must have borrowed from a nasty lender because his monthly payments started swelling fast, and even with my mom starting to work part-time, our living expenses became more and more strained. That's when it happened. I received a call from my mom, who was at her wit's end. Lisa, life's really tough right now. Could you help us out with some money? What? Dad's debt was that big? I didn't know either, but it looks like it's much bigger than we thought. My part-time job isn't nearly enough to cover it. I'm stunned. How can Dad do this to you, Mom? And isn't the house we lived in leaking? Is everyday life even manageable? Our home is just rented, so we can't even remodel it. We have no choice but to endure. Ugh, okay. Why don't you guys move in with me? So that's how I ended up inviting my parents to live in my condo. We've been living as a family of 3, while also helping with Dad's debt repayments. 2 months passed since my parents moved in. While eating lunch with my mom, she received a phone call. Oh, Mom, long time no see. Hello, is this Carrie? The person on the phone was my sister Carrie. The first thing out of her mouth was unbelievable. Could you lend me some money? I went to the house and no one was there. Are you guys out? Money? I lent you $300 just the other day. Can't help it. I blew it all on slots again. Carrie, you're... As you can guess, my sister was also a gambler. True to the saying, like father, like daughter, Carrie also loves gambling. She's a housewife who frequents slot parlors while her husband works. Despite our struggling mother, Carrie continued. Hey, where are you? Did you move? Yes, we moved. That's why nobody was at the old house. What? You really moved? I didn't hear about this. Give me the address. About that. Being the softy that she is, my mom couldn't act cold towards even Carrie. Knowing this, I grabbed the phone from my mom. Hey, Carrie, enough is enough. How long will you keep bothering Mom like this? Huh? Lisa, why are you there? Mom's living with me now. The old house is rented and comes with rent. You're old enough. Stop asking parents for money. It's embarrassing. What's it to you? Then you lend me some money. Why should I? Absolutely not. Just stop bothering Mom about this anymore. I hung up abruptly. My mom looked awkward and said, I'm sorry, as she slumped her shoulders. I've never really gotten along with my 2-year-older sister, Carrie. She's constantly getting into debt and bothering my mom without showing any gratitude. I've always despised my older sister. After her marriage, she stopped visiting our family home, and I thought it was a relief that our encounters decreased. But recently, it seems she's begun coming back to ask for money, especially our dad. He's been lenient with my sister, lending her money in secret from my mom, despite being in debt himself. If my sister finds out where I live, it'll be the end of me. She has asked for my address a few times since, but I've ignored every single request. Then, a few days later, as the 3 of us were relaxing at home, the intercom rang. I'll get it, my dad said, unusually taking the initiative. A few minutes later, the door opened with a clatter and a shrill voice echoed. Wow, how many stories is this place? I turned towards the voice in surprise, and there stood my sister. What? Carrie, why are you? Oh, don't mind me. You should have told me sooner if you bought a penthouse. Mom and Dad still have money, right? But this place is... My mom started, but my sister didn't seem to be listening. Dad, you've always been into stocks, right? Maybe you hit it big time? That's not it, Carrie. This house is. As expected of my dad. I always thought you were no ordinary man, but you truly are amazing. At that, my father began to blush, with a doting smile on his face, and muttered, Well. What do you mean, well? This isn't your house, is it? Why are you acting like you own the place? It seems like it was my dad who gave my sister the address of this house. From my father's reaction, my sister seemed to have mistaken this house to be entirely owned by him, and began to throw sarcastic remarks at me. Hey, Lisa, how long do you plan on living off of our parents? What? I'm working. I'm not leeching off of Dad's house like this. But this house is... Poor you, right? You don't even have a husband to provide for you. My husband, on the other hand, works at a top-tier company after graduating from grad school. Isn't it funny how different we ended up as sisters? And what, you're at some no-name company with a low salary? Haha. I don't work at a company because... At that, my sister froze for a moment. Wait, are you seriously unemployed? Why would you think that? I'm just not attached to a company, but I do work. Unemployed at your age, that's just not acceptable. I don't want to be associated with that. What's your problem? Can't you listen? Oh wow, it's true what they say about people getting angry when you hit the bullseye. Haha. My sister continued to berate me and eventually received $200 as allowance from my father before leaving. That night, I complained to my father. Dad, do you realize that you're in debt? Despite knowing that, why are you giving Carrie money? I can't help it, can I? Carrie is a full-time housewife with no income. She's in a tough spot. That's because she's wasting it all on gambling. If you have the means to spoil Carrie, why don't you pay off your debt sooner? Both Mom and I are being troubled by this. Okay, I got it. Just don't get so angry. Seriously, it's exasperating how irresponsible my father can be. But they're still family. I can't just abandon them. Then, 2 weeks later, another storm hit out of nowhere. I'm pregnant, so I'll be moving in here with my husband. My sister, who had visited again, brought along her husband this time. And they were saying they would live in this house. Hold on a minute. Don't decide on your own. This house is mine. Huh, this house belongs to Dad. Besides, you being a bum is a bother to our parents. Why is it that you have to live here once you get pregnant, and even bring your husband? Well, I've already canceled my condo lease, so you, the unemployed, can just keep quiet. I told you I'm not a bum. How much will you keep having your own way until you're satisfied? Our argument was interrupted by Dad, who intervened, saying, Come on now. Calm down, Lisa. Carrie is pregnant, so we can't just kick her out, right? Even Dad? Enough is enough. Then my sister burst out laughing, looking at me desperately, trying to hold my ground. Haha, you act high and mighty, but you don't even have an income. Poor Dad. Parasitic bum should leave, you money sucker. At that moment, my emotions exploded with anger. That's enough. She's no longer family to me. If she wants it that way, I'll do as I please. With a smirk, my sister watched me. Fine, you want me to leave? Oh, aren't you obedient? Finally realized your worthlessness? I'll leave as you wish. But whatever happens, it's not my problem. Huh? What's that? The one who's going to have a hard time is you, not me. Upon hearing that, Mom intervened. Lisa, wait. I stopped Mom from butting in. Mom, I'm fine. Don't say anything. But, really, okay? Thanks for your concern, but I'm fine. Lisa. Whether she didn't like our meaningful exchange, my sister yanked my arm. Get out of here already, you bum! I packed my belongings immediately and left the house the next day. A few days later, enjoying some alone time for the first time in a while, I received a call from my sister. Oh, how's your new life? How's living in that crappy apartment? Haha. You called just to say that? You're free, aren't you? Huh? Annoying. I cared enough to check in on you, but... Instead, are you helping Mom? You're doing some housework, right? Then my sister chuckled and blurted out, like hell I am. Housework is Mom's job, right? I'm pregnant after all. I don't have to do such things. Really? You live together. You should cooperate more. How selfish can you be? Shut up. Unlike you, a jobless bum, I'm noble just by being pregnant. Get it? I'm a valuable person unlike you. You're annoying, I'm hanging up. With that, my sister hung up the phone. Worried, I called my mom. Mom, it's Lisa. Lisa. Although only a few days had passed, Mom's voice seemed tired. Mom, I just got a call from Carrie. She's pushing all the housework onto you? Yes, it was fine when you were helping me, Lisa, but Carrie doesn't do anything. I can't believe it. That's it. I'll have a word with her tomorrow. Just wait. Thank you, Lisa. I'm really sorry for everything. Regretting leaving my timid mom in that house, I worked desperately to finish my work. The next day, when I visited the condo, there was an unexpected problem. And my sister started complaining as soon as she saw my face. Lisa, it's terrible. My husband's been arrested for embezzlement. What? My brother-in-law did that? Wow, that's a major letdown. What are you acting so calm for? I'm in big trouble here. I don't know. It has nothing to do with me. There's something I wanted to tell you today, actually. Ignoring my complaint, my sister turned to our father, tears welling up in her eyes. Dad, help me. If I don't have my husband, I won't be able to live. Well, what do you expect me to do? You have money, don't you? Lend me some. No, really, I don't have any. That's impossible. In a state of frenzy, my sister began to search through my father's room, eventually finding his bank book. As soon as she excitedly opened it, her face froze at the sight of the balance. What? What is this? Why? Why is there only $1.75 left in the balance? To my sister's hysterical shouting, I explained. It's gambling, exactly like you. What? You're kidding, right? By the way, Dad's in debt too. What? Wait a minute. He is living in a luxury condo, right? There's no way he's broke. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. When we opened the door, several men in suits we didn't recognize were standing there. We have a warrant to seize property, so we'll be proceeding with the operation. With that, the men began to collect my sister's belongings one by one. Wait a minute, that's a designer bag I won at a casino. Oh, that's my beauty device. Why? My husband's embezzlement is recent. Please stop. To my bewildered sister, I delivered the facts. This isn't a seizure for your husband. It's because our dad ignored all the debt collection efforts. It seems like he's been ignoring all the letters from the court without telling me or Mom. What? What does that mean? Then how? What about this house? That's why I said this is a house I rented. It wasn't bought and it's not in the name of Dad or Mom. No, you're lying. Rent? Why didn't you tell me sooner? I tried to tell you many times. So did Mom. It's you who ignored everything and didn't want to know. How can you afford to rent a luxury condo like this? That doesn't make sense. I'm doing stock trading at home. Stocks? Just like Dad did, I tried to mimic him, and it turned out I was better at it. The one who hit it big in the stock market wasn't Dad, it was me. What? Then what about this house? What will happen to me? I don't feel like paying the rent anymore either, so everyone will probably be evicted eventually. I can just rent another place, but it will be tougher for you, being jobless with a child. Well, do your best. I no longer consider you family and have no intention of helping. Saying this, my sister collapsed on the spot, crying loudly. Seeing my selfish sister like this, I finally lost my patience. What are you crying for? After all the trouble you've caused, now you cry and ask for help when things get tough? You're too selfish. Listen, Mom is going to live with me. I won't let you get involved with her anymore. Just stay there with our good-for-nothing father and wait until your husband comes back. No, you're my sister, right? Don't abandon me, please. You should experience a bit of hell, you disaster. It goes without saying what happened to my sister and father after that. In the end, my brother-in-law was unable to repay the money he had embezzled and is now in jail. The worst part is, it seems my sister was unknowingly using the money her husband had embezzled. It was clear she was spending more money than his salary could cover, so the conclusion was that my sister who ignored this was also at fault. As for my father, without me and my mom who had been helping him with his debt repayment, he must have finally realized how grateful he should have been. He now works a day job and takes on night work as a traffic controller, pushing his old body to work double shifts. As for me, I moved into a new place with my mom and we're living peacefully. I've always lived light, renting, so if I lose my home, I just need to rent a new one. At first, Mom was worried about Dad and my sister, but now she's regaining her old spirit. Hey, Lisa, I heard there's a new cafe that opened up near the station. Mom, you really love cafes, don't you? That place is famous for its waffles. Come on, let's go together. Sure, after work then. Yay! I'll do some cleaning and wait. Finally attained this utterly ordinary day-to-day life. I intend to savor this happiness and live each day with gratitude.